Hello, everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green today. Before we go over the charts, let's take a minute and touch on next Wednesday. The 14th will be the FOMC uh, rate hike decision and press conference. So we need to keep that on the radar. As of right now, looks like the market's pricing in a pause for this month and a continue to start hiking again next month. I don't know if that's how we're going to do it, but that's what's being priced in as of right now. And this changes a lot. So it could be something totally different. And I'm sure it will be something totally different before next Wednesday. So we did see some rotation today. Markets pulling back, still in the range we were expecting a pullback. Talked about that on Sunday. Had a nice move on Friday. Expected a pullback on the indices, but we are seeing some rotation into some of the energy names and XLF into the financial sector. So let's get going over the charts and we'll talk about things as we get going. So this nice move up last week. Right now we have a small, basically bearish harami. So a bearish inside day. Uh, we're waiting for moving averages to catch up on the daily, but we are seeing some changes on in the tech chart. And we'll talk about that when we get there, the cues. Breath still pushed up today. Not the best action, but breath still pushed up. We still have this gap down here. We could pull right into this gap. Nine's catching up. Your daily 5 is already up here, but your daily 9's catching up to this gap now. We could easily pull back, find support at the gap or at the other side of the gap, and look for a bounce there. Kind of what I'm thinking here. The dollar still looking for this. I still think this has got more upside into it. Looked a little weak this morning, but held that 9. Got a line looking for the like a little flag break type play there. VIX is just getting smashed down. Crude did have a push today that helped energy push. Not a huge move, but crude chart did push up. So Apple is right down holding your daily 9. See if we hold this. If not, we're going to look for a touch of around the 20 area. You can see when we lose the 9, we pull back and this time we actually got below, gap below, and we worked our way back higher. Got a little blow there, worked our way back higher. So if we do lose the 9, see how we act around the 20. A nice price target upgrade this morning on Apple. We posted that in the Facebook group as well, talking about the cell phones and what certain people think. I believe it was Webbush, but I'm not sure of the cell phones, and they think that Apple will see a cell phone surge. So you can see Apple's intraday chart here. You can see we moved lower. Could draw a trend line, respected the trend line all the way down. Gold's weak here, trying to move lower. Did push up and got rejected today. We opened up and just moved lower. Advanced decline lines turned up. AMC holding this 9. There is GME news out that Ryan Cohen uh, announces election, or GameStop announces election of Ryan Cohen as executive chairman. So we could see some upside on some of these meme names. Get a little crazy. Keep an eye on that. Even though it's back above the 9, still trading within that bear flag. Can look for rejection if that 20 is possible. AMD today, very nice move down. Puts paid nicely on the way down today. Amazon, bearish engulfing candle here. We did close below this daily 9. So seeing some weakness here. It's been a while since we closed below the daily 9. We've been on a nice push. Could possibly see a pullback to the 20. It could definitely pull back further, but see how we act around the 20 tomorrow if we do continue to move lower. ARC, this candle is very dark cloud coverage. It is not a textbook dark cloud cover. It did not cover at least 50% of that candle, but we did open up, gap up higher, and it did try to push. You can see that, but the bears come in and brought that candle back down, moved it into the previous candle body. So if we open up tomorrow, we should be able to see a move down to the bottom of this candle easily. If we clear that, look for a move down to your daily 9. Depends on where that candle opens tomorrow. AMD, this is starting to look like a lower high here. We closed below this 9 as well. We have a gap down here. We could be trying to go for a gap fill there as well. Let's do keep in mind we do have good support down here on a lot of these names, so we've moved up out of some of that volume. AMD weekly still green there. Looks like it wants to move lower, so this is kind of a weekly dark cloud cover. Once again, it is not a textbook candle. It is not really a dark cloud cover, but it's got the same bearishness to it. It gapped up and it's pulled back, and this is the weekly. So last week looks like we're trying to get follow through. This candle opened up, pushed up first, and then when it comes back, the same setup I talk about us catching all the time for the scalps, just in a higher time frame. Affirm, nice gap up and give that all back today. There's still now I would say there's a slight gap there, but we actually have a wick there. So in my opinion, there's not really a gap there. Some people would say there was, but if you go into an intraday chart, you'll see price action there. Amazon, nice move down. Personal preference. That's all that is. I'd still watch it for a move down to that candle body. Amazon weekly holding the support level, waiting for the moving average to catch up. That provided a very nice move up. Apple, this candle is dark cloud. That is a dark cloud cover on Apple's weekly. We do have a gap down here on the weekly, so we could see that get filled. Boeing, nice push up here on Boeing on the daily. Today made a nice strong push right off of your daily 9. You can see yesterday's candle. It's not a hammer candle, but you can see the bullishness in here. At one time we had pushed up and then the bears had brought it all the way back down, but the buyers did come in and was able to push it up. So that momentum followed through in today's candle, pushing higher. At this point, I want to get above those candles before I look for a trade on it. And also, just want to point out real quick, this chart is pushing into some heavier volume profile. So there's some resistance up there. Actually, it looks like here we got a gap until we can move up into it right here. And that's about right where we are. Pushing up above this candle is going to put you into this higher bar here. So there is some resistance, but if Boeing can clear that, maybe you can try moving up. Bitcoin, Bitcoin weekly still struggling in between your 9 and 20 and 200. Daily's ugly, trying to retrace that candle. Boeing, you can see the nice move up here today. Very nice move. Look how it flagged on that 15-minute 9 and then pushed back up. Broke it there, but was able to reclaim it. Nice push. So some nice scalpable moves there. Some nice trending moves as well. CVX gap up today, pushing higher. Energy definitely seen some rotation there today. XLC, the communication sector, has pulled back to that daily 9. See if we can get a bounce there. XLP, this is consumer staple, trying to hold this level. You can see they tried to defend it today and try to push it up. Got to get back above that 200 net daily 9 for a move up. Want to see it above this whole area here, to be honest. This is worth keeping an eye on because you got matching lows down here. So got matching lows, double bottomish type move. Just worth keeping an eye on. You can see a small W maybe starting there if this tries to push. So consumer staple is worth keeping an eye on. If we break below, I would say these candle wicks here, let it, because you got a lot of action going on in there. So if we get below those candle wicks, can look for a move lower. Cost, keep an eye on this one, heading back into the 9. See if we can get a flag here. See if we can hold that daily 9 and get a green candle to give us, pushing back up to try to give us some kind of signal to go in on that. DraftKings did pull back in today as well. At one time, DraftKings was at market open. It did try to push. DDOG, not sure what happened here. Huge move back down today. We finally got this breakout of this contraction pattern coming right back into the center of the pattern. So I'm actually not surprised. Contraction, expansion, trend. So we're going to watch this and see how this acts off the center of this pattern. I'm not sure why. Like, I have no answer for this, but they have a nice, you can get nice actions off that center. So let me change this up a little bit, save, and I'll explain. So contraction, expansion, trend. So you get your breakout of contraction, it can go up and go down. There's no dedicated move. We got to catch the move. After the contraction, you go into a phase called a trending phase, and this can be a wild move. This is actually what it looks like. Contraction, expansion, quick move up, come back down, retest the center of the pattern, see what happens here. If it breaks it, we're looking for a move lower. If it breaks this pattern, we're going to look for a move lower, or your 20-day is right there. If we possibly could get a bounce here as well, and then start to see a nice trending move. So contraction, expansion. After your expansion phase, you usually get a decent trending move. Now that move could be up or down. We don't know yet. The pattern did break up to the first time. If we lose this 9, I'm going to look for a move down. If we bounce off that 9, I'm going to look for a move up. See Lily. So Lily did try to push up here and couldn't hold it. So that's area still resistance. Watch it off that 9 and that 20. Below here, I'm bearish. I got to be above this area. You can already see a fail. So I want to be up here before I look for calls, or to go long, down here before I look for puts, or to go short. I don't short with shares. I use options, but some people prefer to use shares. I am an options trader. I still trade a few small caps here and there, the small cap runners, but it's mostly options now. And if I do trade a small cap, it's in pre-market. Nice gap here on volume. So this is XLE. You can see bullish engulfing with a gap up, bullish engulfing candle that is very bullish, closing over this 200. The MACD is heating up here. Nice histogram bar. See if we can get a move higher and you follow through. We want to see those not at 9 and 20 turning up the follow price up. RSI is heating up. I'm not much on the RSI, but it's trying to heat up. Google. So Google broke out of this ascending triangle. We got a nice push up and it failed today. Broke the 9. Watch it off your daily 20. Could be a contraction inside of your pattern, expansion, a trending tight phase. Let's see what happens here. Right now it is a busted pattern. And the MACD never even thought about signaling anything to the upside. IWM put in it's a small ascending triangle here on a daily. Did close on the highs, made a decent push though. Qs close below your daily 9. So see where we open up tomorrow. If we open up below this candle, or if a candle, it may gap up, but if we move below this candle tomorrow, I'm looking for a move down, but I got to be below that candle body and candle wick, and I'll look for a move down to that 20-day. The Q's 15-minute chart, you can see the big pullback today. After a initial push, we had a small push and we sold, which, yesterday we had a push and then sold. It was a little different, but still pretty much the same market behavior. Just timing's a little different and the pullback was bigger. At least we had better range. Qs, the weekly, trying to get this move back here, watching this candle line. So the top of this candle can offer support. If we lose that candle, we're looking for a move lower. So if you're interested in trading Qs, make sure you're watching that weekly candle. LVS, wedging in between your 20 and 50 there. Mara, very tight contraction pattern there. Very tight. When that breaks out, it's going to want to go. We don't know the direction yet, but it's probably going to give a big move when it breaks out. Merck down. They have they have put out a lawsuit against the government over pricing of drugs, constitutional rights, and some other stuff involved. Anyway, they are moving lower on that. But we did see the buyers come back in here today and try to buy it back up. So see where it goes tomorrow. We did manage to close back up above this candle. See where we open up tomorrow. We could try to make a move back up for that 9, only with following the bullish sentiment that come in at the end of the day. So you kind of got a hammer there, hammer at so exactly what you have here is a hammer candle at a double previous. Could be a double bottom forming, but at a previous level of support. Meta lost a daily 9 there today as well. You can see the huge move down here. It looks like it's trying to recover a little bit in after hours. Microsoft, huge move down. See how that acts on the 20s. We're seeing these names had a big move up, so they need a little time off. Looking for some pullbacks. Don't think it's over for them, but it could be. But I don't think it's over for them. I think they just need to pull back. Hopefully we can rotate in some other names to hold the market up while these names take a break. They've been on a big tear. You can see Microsoft here on this candle. This is the weekly chart. This candle does not close until Friday's close. But right now we're trying to get a evening star type pattern there on the weekly, which could be a big deal. NVIDIA, still watching this one for a gap fill. If I can break below this wick, I'll look for a gap fill. Of course, it's not going to fill it in one day, and I don't hold overnight, so that would be several different trades on that. The video here with a move lower, you can see this one also had a push up and then a big move lower. The video weekly, we had that topping candle last week, so we're expecting a little pullback here. We talked about this last week. Topping candle doesn't mean the market's going to crash, but we can't go straight up every single day either. We're pulling back here on the NASDAQ to your daily 9, so we won't have long to wait to see if we're going to move back up. Netflix it did gap up today and tried to push. Had some really big price targets on this one, end up giving it back, holding this candle line. So I'd like to be below at least this candle body, if not below this whole section here. But if you get below this candle body right here, which will put you right at this wick as well, if you can get below that, you can probably get a move down to the support level here or to your daily 9. Which it doesn't sound like much on that chart, but that can pay big on options. That can be a day's trade and make good money trading Netflix on a trade like that with a proper strike. Can make really good money. So the Qs on the monthly still holding 61.8, but it's the beginning of the month. We got a ways to go. Roblex trying to break down here. SPX holding this little contraction pattern up here as resistance. You can see it's trying to move lower. As we've said, we got a gap down here. We can see it move down into the gap and then try to push back up. SoFi, this was a play that we were looking for off the debt ceiling with the student loans. Has made a tremendous move up there. A little topping candle today. The diamond's holding in here as well. We did see a down candle, seen a little strength there today. So they were, while the rest of the market was pulling back, they were trying to buy the Dow 30 up. And the weekly need to take out last week's candle to push higher. Still got 2 days in this week's candle. SPY, see we have a small bearish Arami there on the weekly. On the monthly, we're holding above that 61.8 level there. And the SPY daily, we can pull back for a gap fill. The 9's right there. We're at the 5 right now. If you put your daily 5 on, we're at that. So we can hold that. But we got this 9 coming up. We can look for a gap fill, which would actually be nice. Let's pull back, get this gap over with, and then we can push higher. May not do that, but that's what I'm looking for right now. You can see SPY, pretty tight range on the SPY today. Definitely had some other names that move better. Square tried to give follow through off yesterday's candle. Closed with a tight spinning top today. We did have that one on the radar for a while. CRM, Salesforce, broke below, trying to give some back. That chart's been on a tear. It's another one that needs a break. A shot, we got a breakout. When we opened this morning, it just sold, retesting your breakout point. See what happens there. Tesla today did move lower. Not a huge move, though. You can see XLK trying to move lower. We lost a daily 9 there. We do have a gap down here. We could come down here, fill this gap, and try to push or watch your 20. Tesla, nice weekly. We were bullish because we closed last week above that 50, trying to push higher here. And if we look on a daily, kind of a little bit of topping candle here, but held the gap up. So let's see if we can hold that gap up. Uber, another busted pattern. We had this pattern. We broke up, pulling back. So we could just be testing contraction pattern. So it's something about the center of these patterns. Your moving averages are right there. So we could just be looking for a move up here. This is not the most textbook contraction pattern, but it's exactly what's going on here. We broke up. This could be a part of the expansion phase, and we could bounce off that or take that out and move lower. Uber, tomorrow's candle, we'll know. So we had these 3 green crows here, which provided a nice trade. It did pull back, still closed with a high close candle, but you could see the pullback. But if you got into this off those 3 green crows, you could have made money, took profits at the top, or a noticeable pullback. Still holding that area well. And XLF, 2 days up, a little bit tighter range today. We did pull back, but it is a high close candle, but a nice bullish engulfing candle yesterday with some follow through today. The bonds, strong bearish down candle there. May see some follow through. That's not actually good for the market. IWM weekly, we called once again this foot, heel, arch, ball of the foot. Your toes started pointing up right here. So we were looking for a move up on this candle, and we've got it. Nice push there. Uh, IWM, once again, small gap here. We could pull back and fill that, but we did close above this resistance level. But you can see I could probably move that line up a little bit to this volume profile bar. We are still under. And the put to call ratio has not been updated yet. Neutral yesterday. Oscillators haven't been updated yet neither. Well, I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the trading room.